Words about books. Ben, you're Ben, and I'm Nate, and this is season 5. And because my daughter is asleep, I can't start off this season by shouting and being all energetic. So because of that, Ben, and only because of that, we have to talk about the Expanse now. Yeah.
The Expanse.
Yep. This is where the intro music is going. I'm drowning you out, Ben. We're just gonna roll with the Expanse. That sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, all right. We're back.
The listeners need to know, I don't know what we're recording today. I'm not sure if you're serious right now. I don't know. I didn't read The Expanse, nor did I watch The Expanse, so I don't know what we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about Abbadon's Gate, Ben.
Did you read this in secret?
So, what I did,
and I'm pretty
Ben,
sure it's Abbadon.
I got my pronunciation from All Elite Wrestling, Ben.
Abbadon!
So, it may be... I always pronounced it Abbadon.
It could be.
And then they were like, oh, it's Abbadon. I'm like, oh, am I an idiot? And have I been pronouncing it wrong this whole time? So, you know.
As often as we pronounce it.
Yes. So yeah, Ben, more accurately, I read the first third of this book. And then I'm going to tell it to you, and you can decide if we actually want to read this book later on. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. I'm throwing that out there, Ben, because we thought about reading this book, and then we decided against it because Caliban's War. But then I thought, like, what if Caliban's War was just, like, the bad one, Ben? We don't know.
Okay, well, that's fair, I guess. Though, let me see if I have the Discord handy. I don't remember exactly where we were talking about that, but I think I said something like, I don't want to do this. And pretty much, like 3 people were like, yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, but then I said that I had a plan. And then in the Discord, they're like, okay, trust the Schadenfreude. At the very least, we're gonna just squeeze out. We're gonna bear down and plop out one more that you have to listen to, Ben. You have to be here for this.
Okay. All right. How do you? This is all you. Please.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened in the last book, Ben?
They fought the proto-molecule on a rock.
Oh, sorry. That was my bad. Let me rephrase. Do you remember the only thing that advanced the plot at the very, very end of the last book that was like an epilogue, I think?
Oh, the guy I liked came back.
Yeah, Miller came back as like a force ghost or something.
Force will be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the proto-molecule on Venus, it blew its load into space just outside the orbiting radius of Uranus.
Your rectum.
And now there's an O-shaped ring in space out there, Ben.
Okay. I'm sure it's a portal of some kind.
Well, that's what you would think, right? Because, like, duh, right?
Yeah.
But all the King's scientists and all the King's men couldn't put that together again. They're sitting out there with their science ships doing science on it, and the plot is kickstarted when a guy. So you know how the prologue is always a point of view that we never get a point of view of again.
I've only read 2 books, but okay, maybe that's a trend.
That's a trend now.
Okay, 3 is a pattern.
Yeah, there you go. 3 is a pattern. So this is. I'm just going. It's Moneo. Yeah, who cares? His thing is his
Moneo
personality
from
is
God Emperor of Dune.
No, maybe no. He's too stupid. No, this is like some kid, some punk teenager, right? His want is to
It's not a
build
common name.
Is to build a little ship and then slingshot himself out and he's going to get all the clout, all the street cred, all the internet likes when he's the first one to go into the ring, Ben. And then he will get to feel up, let me check my notes, his mother's sister's kid.
That's his cousin.
That's his cousin, right?
Yeah. They have a name for that in most languages.
So he dies.
Wait, so
he goes to the ring and immediately dies. He's done.
I'm okay with that. I mean, he sounded great. But nobody tried pushing something through the ring?
I guess not, because he's the first thing to go through the ring, and he doesn't appear on the other side. I'm thinking, like, that's the first thing I do, right? It's a ring.
Yeah.
I'm guessing teleporter or Stargate or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to put something in there and see what happens.
Or at the very least, you'd want to examine the inner portion of the ring, and in doing so would pass through it and presumably die.
Yeah, but they didn't do that for like a year, because this is 1 year from the last book, Ben.
Okay. I'm not a scientist. Maybe they don't do that sort of thing. Neil deGrasse Tyson, please tell me.
Yeah.
What would you do with a giant ring?
What would you do if there was a portal? What would you do to it?
Forget it.
And would you want to feel up your cousin?
You know, we pick on Neil deGrasse Tyson a lot, but I'm not going to put that on him. I don't. The man's done a lot of weird stuff, but I don't think that's one of them.
Hamburger.
So, Ben, this time... So the first book, we had 2 point of views, and that worked out pretty well, I think. It was a very snappy book. It moved the plot, but you got to see the world from 2 different angles.
The hell are you talking about? We had 2 point of views. Oh, you mean the first book?
The second book, we had 4 point of views, and it was a long slog, and it was awful. And some of the point of views just did not need to exist or had to walk in circles for a while so that other point of views could advance the plot. So this book has 4 point of views, Ben.
Did you know that Bobby was larger than most women?
Dang it, Bobby. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, her personality was she's larger than most women, but don't think about the fact that there's an entire, like, subspecies of human. That's probably mean to say. I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but belters, right? They're like 8 feet tall. Who cares if you have a woman who's like 6 feet?
But, like, she couldn't fit in human chairs. She's so tall.
Yeah, except she wasn't actually like 7 feet tall, which would make sense for that.
No one at the
also,
UN is
again,
6 feet tall.
There are 8 foot tall belters, so like, why wouldn't they develop the chairs and doorways to be larger?
But they don't sit in chairs, they just float.
They fold themselves up.
Okay. So there's a ring. The guy from West Virginia got slingshot through it. And he died. So now we know that the ring is not a portal. It is in fact a death machine. Kill it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just introduce the point of views and tell you where they're at. But the thing is, everyone's going to start heading to the ring.
I don't want to be that guy, but it's points of view.
Whatever, bro. The POVs, dog.
The P's OV.
Get the fuck out of here. So of course you got James Holden, and he's seen. Of course. He and Naomi are they're going steady. They push their beds together and they share quarters now, Ben.
Oh
yeah, well, kissy.
Am I going steady? What does that mean? How did I get into this anyway?
I'm gonna be real with you. Even if I was dating somebody on a ship like that, I think the quarters must be so small that I think I would still not want to share.
I think they cut a hole in the wall to do that.
Ah, that's cheating.
Oh.
Why would you cut a hole in the wall? You just open a door.
No, because we need to have our beds together so we can smoochy smooch. Yeah, plant a big old kissy kiss on her.
For anyone who hasn't read The Expanse, it's based on a role-playing game the one guy made up, and Holden is very obviously the player character that was created by the other guy. I
Yeah.
don't know which guy's which, but Holden has big main character energy. He's got a lot of plot armor. He needs an open channel so that he can tell you everything everyone's doing at any given time.
That is a thing that he does constantly.
If you had a secret, you would not, like if you were getting somebody a birthday present, you would not want to tell Holden, because Holden would immediately demand an open channel and broadcast
it to
your
the
birthday
entire
present idea
solar
to the
system.
entire solar system. They have a right to know.
Yeah.
Nay, a need.
They can make up their own mind after they know.
Yeah.
He also-
If Holden was your doctor and you were diagnosed with a disease that was like,
you could make bank off of him if he was your doctor. You sue the shit out of him for HIPAA violations, and it would be really easy because you just walk through, just going through the waiting room, just handing everyone your test results.
you can't sue him because every time he tried to communicate with his lawyer, he would just send a transcript of the whole conversation across an open channel to the entire solar system.
And Holden, he was really sweet on another girl when he was doing ice running on the Canterbury, but then she died, and so he immediately turned his attention to Naomi as if the other girl never existed in the first place.
Well, Naomi became literally the
The only
only
one.
woman left. And that's when he decided he had always loved her.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Okay, so what's Holden up to? Doing
Well,
ring stuff?
He's flush with cash.
How?
Taking all the jobs, Ben. They're getting all the jobs.
It does not make sense that he's taking random jobs.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to entrust your random jobs to a guy who can't keep a secret?
Exactly, Ben.
How is he allowed to go anywhere? He has screwed over
He's-
every major government.
He's pissed off Earth, Mars, and the Outer Planets Alliance on more than one occasion, and he got on the wrong side of the largest corporation in shipping. Yeah. That's the guy I would entrust my cargo to.
Literally, Al-Qaeda has more friends than this guy.
You're not wrong. But he's taking jobs, Ben. I guess there's a high demand for a guy who can't keep a secret to run their illegal whatever. And he keeps getting visited by Miller. And Miller said something weird that...
Watching you pee, Holden.
He actually does come to him in the bathroom. Yes, that is. You're not wrong. You're not joking either.
It just writes itself. It just writes itself, Nate.
And then Miller says something like, "Oh, so they finally did it." And Holden realizes that Miller actually responded to the guy going through the ring. And so Miller's plan is to take a job from what is an obvious shell corporation with mysterious cargo to go to like a moon of Uranus. And Uranus, your butthole, it's on the other side of the ring in the solar system right now. So he's going to run away. That's his plan, Ben.
When danger reared its ugly head, he bravely turned his tail and fled.
He's going to the opposite side of the solar system.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want any part of this ring business. I'm refusing the call to action like a hero, Ben.
Did
Because that's
Holden
what I am.
demand an open
James,
channel to let the
goddamn
universe know
Holden.
that Miller's watching him pee?
Strangely enough, he's not telling anyone about Miller watching him pee. He's Naomi and the rest of the crew
Well,
know, but he's not telling everyone.
He probably figures they just saw Miller on the live stream, which is what he calls it when he broadcasts his pee. This is my most highbrow episode ever.
Unfortunately,
I-
but so you know
I
how
like being Nate. I like this role. for
it's
me.
nice, right? It's nice.
Yeah.
So you know how they stole a Martian warship in the first book, and then in the second book we were like, how does he still have that? And Holden just keeps going like, salvage rights, it's my ship, salvage rights.
And as an American citizen, it is his right to outfit that Martian warship with all of the military ordnance it was originally stocked with.
And then some. He's installing rail guns and stuff too.
Yeah.
So
no,
Mars,
it's definitely an actual sci-fi. Everybody sells me this book as like, oh, it's the best thing to ever come out of hard sci-fi, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, the physics of how they get around the universe, it's great hard sci-fi. The logic is like, okay, do you guys want to buy anything while we're at the quest hub before we head out on the next mission? So it's going to be a long one. So you want the railgun? You got 500 gold? You get the railgun for 500 gold.
Yeah, that sounds like fun to me.
You know how you could go to Baldur's Gate and buy spells that are like nuclear weapons that you shouldn't have?
Yeah, but I want one, Ben.
Okay, well, you look like a reputable hedge wizard.
I'm going to kill everyone, but I'm the hero, so it's okay. What was he... Let's see. Two years after he stole this Martian warship, they're finally suing him for the ship back.
Okay.
So his ship was locked down, but don't worry, Ben. A news crew or they're gonna do a documentary on the guys who survived the Eros station or whatever it was called. Series Eros, I can't remember.
You just insert that Mass Effect will bang, okay?
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Yeah, they have influence with the UN, and so they can get his ship unlocked if they transport this news crew to the ring, and also agreed to do a series of private interviews. And the crew, they're all like, oh, we've got secrets to hide. We can't do that. And James Holden is like, don't worry, guys. I'm a hypocrite.
You better believe James Holden is not going to deny the opportunity to be constantly interviewed by a news crew and to give away. I know you guys have a lot of secrets. I promise I'm going to be sensitive to that. Did you know that Naomi has a mole on the left side of her ass?
Did you know that Amos is a weird child of some sort of pregnancy prostitution
Whatever
ring?
you do, don't ask Amos about how he was sex trafficked as a child. He's very sensitive about it.
Actually, no, Ben. He's like, don't worry. I'll keep your secrets safe by being the sole interviewee and draw all the attention to me, which I thought was very hypocritical.
I don't. That's the. They know his character. I would be making fun of it if they didn't do that. But it also does sound a lot like that reporter from Mass Effect, and I know these guys have played that game.
I've had enough of your snide insinuations.
So yeah, they have to go to the ring now, Ben. I'm gonna cut to. Well, actually, you choose your own adventure, Ben. Do you want Melba, Anna, or Bowl?
I'm sorry, did you say bowl?
Bowl, as in the thing that gored Leto's dad, but this is a man.
This happened the last time with your weird accent. Bull.
Bowl.
Is anybody comment if you're hearing him say bowl? Like what you would put cereal in.
No, the Chicago Bulls.
It's bull.
Bowl. Bowl.
You're saying, oh.
Bowl. Bool.
Bowl. Bowl.
I was gonna call him Amos to see if you would say it like I got you to do last time, but I forgot. That was my bad.
Famous Amos.
Those are good cookies, Ben. So who do you want me to talk about first, Ben?
I think we got it. Well, if his name had been Bowl, I would have said Bowl. But what's the other one, like Myrtle?
Melba?
Melba. Let's talk about Melba.
So Melba is a fake name, Ben. She's
No shit.
actually Clarissa Mao.
Wait, that
She-
sounds familiar. Was she the moon ship lady?
No, that's her sister. And her
Okay.
dad is the guy who is now in prison.
The chairman?
Yeah, chairman now.
Did you realize it before you said it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So we start her story in the most disgusting, scummy, vile place on Earth. Baltimore.
I was going to say Detroit.
So she is in some sort of back alley gambler's den where all of the gambling games show graphic depictions of sexual abuse against women. And this is where I want to say, whenever they try the dark and seedy route, it kind of fucking sucks.
Why is that?
I feel like it's not the tone established in Holden, Champion of the World, Champion of the Universe Holden, Saving the Day.
Yeah. We did have that
tone-
problem with it. Because it's
Yeah.
like, how can we have space, like Flash Gordon, Space Punchy Man, Holden, while we also have Amos being
Yes.
part of like a human trafficking operation?
Yes. Yeah, it's really, yeah, it doesn't jive in my mind. It's not cohesive.
Feels like there's two writers.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's two writers, right? That's really weird. But as we know, James S.A. Corey is just one person.
Just one person with two middle names.
So, Melba, she's getting her fake ID. She's getting put
Why
on a...
did she go with Melba?
pass.
I feel, well, maybe that's explained later in the book. That's a weird name. Not a lot of Melbas.
Well, there's a lot of weird names in this book, so maybe it makes sense.
Okay.
So she's going to be put on a ship as like a chief engineer, and that ship is heading towards the ring because, spoilers, she organized everything with James Holden, and she knows that he's going to be going towards the ring. So she needs to be there for her evil plan. We also learn that she has like these implanted glands that like make it so you're super strong and fast and you can't be hurt, but only for a limited time, and then like you crash really hard. But she displays her superhuman power by killing a bunch of gangsters and running away afterwards. So
Okay.
her deal is that she hates James Holden. Me too. I feel you.
Yeah.
But she hates him because he like ruined her family and her family's name, and like your family sucked too, lady. But whatever. Like I get why she doesn't realize how shit her family is. Now we're gonna find out. I'll just tell you about her little journey out to the ring. So she plants a bomb on one of the ships. Like she's an engineer, and they fly all over this flotilla that the Earth is sending out. And she plants a bomb on one of the ships, and she's going to detonate it when James Holden arrives. Then, one of those news crew people is one of her secret plants, Ben, and they're going to put something in Holden's ship that gives her control of the comms and the weapons. She's going to turn off his comms and then broadcast a message, a deep fake, essentially, from James Holden that says that he takes responsibility for blowing up that ship, and he's claiming the ring for the OPA because he's James Holden. See, Ben, he wants...
I do like that part of her plan because that does play
'Cause
into
it makes sense.
the many character flaws of James Holden. Yeah.
Yeah, it jives with him. Now, the thing is, she doesn't want to just outright kill him before that message goes out. Like, obviously, the plan is ruin his reputation, then kill him. But what reputation does he have, Ben? As you said, he has pissed off literally everyone in the solar system. He's been responsible for starting Solar War 1 and 2. And, like, no one likes him. But she's afraid that if she just kills him, he'll become a martyr?
Yeah, so this is one of the things that... so I initially like her plan because to me it plays on the fact that he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But the most frustrating thing about this book, hands down, is how in love with James Holden the authors seem to be. They don't realize he's a very unlikable character. But I guess to their credit...
That's weird, because all the other characters find James Holden pretty unlikable.
Yeah, but in the way that all the other characters find Han Solo pretty unlikable. Like,
Well,
yeah,
they're all like,
he's
wow, this idiot Holden, he's caused all these problems. What an idiot.
Yeah, but then they sleep with him, and then they want to stay on his ship, and then they're undyingly loyal to him. Like, I've talked to people who like The Expanse and dislike our episodes on The Expanse. And they do not understand why I dislike James Holden. They think I'm way too hard on him. And
I didn't mind him as much in the first book, but I did not want this series to be hung on James Holden's head the way it has been.
No, I can't stand him.
We've replaced every POV except for James Holden. Why?
I feel like... Now, if you were going to tell me that the book was going to at least entertain the idea that James Holden has legitimate character flaws and that reasonable people could at the very least disagree on how likable he is, if the book's going that way, you are on your way to winning me. But if this is just she is an objective bad person who does stupid evil things for stupid evil reasons, and James Holden is the poor victim. Also, I guess she wants to frame him for blowing up the ring, but I was going to say it'd be easier to kill him when he was on the ass end of Uranus.
Well, yeah, but not blow up the ring, blow up a civilian ship in the Earth fleet. Earth and Mars and the OPA are all sending a fleet out to the ring because, that hasn't ended in all-out war before. Now, I would say she's not a stupid one-dimensional villain. I mean, okay, she does have, like, a kind of bad motivation because her family's bad, but that's more of her character flaw. But her plan after killing Holden is to, like, go back and rebuild the Mao Quick Empire, ? Or, like, maybe if James Holden is discredited, her dad can get out of jail or something. I don't know. But she does have, like, one of the staffers below her, right? He's, like, checking out some... I don't know, it's like an air filter that picked up some weird stuff, and he's like, that's, like, consistent with a bomb. I think there might be a bomb on that ship. We gotta tell security. And so she's like, oh my god, I have to kill this guy. And she kills him, but then, like, she feels awful about it. And not like in a, I might shatter, I'm Rin kind of way. She's, like, rationalizing, this is all James Holden's fault. He killed that guy. If he hadn't done this, I wouldn't have even been here. And she's, like, all paranoid, like, oh my god, this other person might know. She's, like, crying, like, bouts of hysterical crying.
No, I'll never be able to revive the Mao Nestle Quick Empire and steal all the water on the moon.
The Mao Quick Empire did seem, like, needlessly evil. But apparently it got gutted and then nationalized by Earth. Because Earth, I guess, can just do that. You can just nationalize your company.
It's a socialist paradise, the Earth.
Yeah, they do have basic income then.
Universal basic income, yeah.
Which is something, again, I was like, wait, okay, so you have this weird, like, sex trafficking thing and, like, this grungy bar where all the all the gambling games are sexually assaulting women. But all those motherfuckers are on basic? They're on basic income?
So that
This
was
seems
the
like
thing.
a society that would leave its people behind, not provide them with the means to live.
That's the thing, though, Nate. I do remember this because I think the author I like probably wrote the Amos human trafficking part, because part of the reason Amos gets caught up in all this human trafficking and all this illegal stuff is because he's technically a stateless citizen. Because the Earth has strict population control, and if you're born without permission, you don't get registered as a citizen, and you don't get that universal basic income.
And yet, they had James Holden. 8 people had James Holden.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a big misfire on their part. But there are stateless citizens. So, okay, two women have a kid. Let's go.
Anushka Volovodov, but they just call her Anna. She's a pastor. And I don't want to assume, and I might cut this part, that this is written by the same person as James Holden, but she does solve her problems with violence. There's a domestic violence dispute with one of the parishioners, or whatever you call him, and she tases him. So they're on a moon of Jupiter. She and her wife and their kid. It has nothing to do with the rest of the story.
It's a morally
just to introduce
gray
her as
justice.
As a pastor who tases people. And
everybody likes a holy man or woman who does the right thing.
With a taser.
With a taser.
I think they're on a moon of Jupiter. They might be on a moon of Saturn. I don't know. So
what's the moon's name?
I can't remember, Ben. Here, hold on. Let me pull it up for you.
This is hard science fiction, Nate. If you don't even know the names of the moons of Jupiter, why are we here?
Because there are too many of them.
Yeah, but most of them are gross.
It's like, hello, Saturn. After 10 moons, time to stop naming and start numbering, you know?
Hey, this is Ed or Nate, and I'm keeping that in because I know Ben hates Rick and Morty, and that's what he gets for making me do more work. Okay, so she grew up in Moscow, so that's on the Earth. So they still had a kid.
I knew that one.
Okay, they're on Europa, so yeah, Jupiter. So
that's the good one.
So they talk about the fallout of the previous book. Like, you know how we were like, wow, it's really weird that no one seems to care about the massive investment that was just ruined by destroying Ganymede, which is also the breadbasket of the entire Jovian system. Well, you'll be happy to know that Ganymede miraculously recovered, or the farms collapsed. Two different people say two different things, Ben. Also, one of the moons of Saturn.
Do people remember the Joe Exotic meme where he's like,
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Well, I'm going to put that in here now. So, Mars lost one of its moons, and then one of the moons of Saturn was nuked and pushed into Saturn. So, keep in mind...
Like we're throwing real estate... Wait,
exactly.
Real estate.
That's my thought, too. Like,
also, that's got to be like a really big nuke.
Well, I think they hit it multiple times, just over and over again.
Okay. I'll trust that they did the math on that. I feel like it'd be I don't know. I don't even whatever.
Yeah, I feel like it almost feels like the humans of this universe know that they're going to get interstellar travel soon, so it doesn't matter if you waste all your solar system's resources. That's just a hunch. I don't even know if that's going to happen, but a fucking portal's out there, so I assume, right?
I feel like the resources it would require to push a moon into Jupiter, or was it Saturn? I forget what
Saturn.
You said. The resources it would require to push the moon into Saturn, I mean, depending on how big it is, I guess. I don't know which moon, but why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't remember anything about that moon or why we would do that. Oh wait, maybe that was the moon that was the thing, the proto-molecule.
Didn't that crash into Venus?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So the proto-molecule was harvested from Phoebe. Is that how you say it? Phoebe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the proto-molecule is harvested from there and then unleashed on Eros Station. And then Eros Station was crashed into Venus. So I guess they nuked Phoebe into dust and then pushed it into Saturn.
I guess that solves... Yeah, okay. I guess you would want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they destroyed one of the Martian moons, but they did.
Aren't Mars moons tiny?
Yeah, they're pretty tiny. I think they're thought to be asteroids that were captured by Mars gravity. Unlike our majestic moon, which was carved from the Earth itself.
Yeah, no, we got a Chad moon.
Yeah. Our moon fucks.
Yeah, not like those virgin Martian moons.
Yeah. So, like I said, the Earth is putting together, like, the Earth leader, so it's an election year. So as a publicity stunt, he's sending all kinds of, like, artists and theologians and whatever to the ring. And Anna volunteered.
I'd be sending those people away, too.
Anna volunteered, and so she's going to the ring. And her wife and kid they're fucking off to Earth. They're like, you know what? We're done here. Come get us on Earth when you're done. Bye. And then Anna doesn't do anything for this this third of the story. I assume that she'll be important later. But that's basically her. That's basically what she does. She
is a pastor with a taser who goes to the ring.
Yes.
Okay, that was a hell of a detour.
Yeah, it takes a while to get going.
I'm going to go ahead and say probably didn't need to be a POV character.
Probably not, but later on, maybe she does. She does meet Melba, and Melba almost thinks like...
Maybe she could just be a character in Melba's story? Maybe she could just be a character.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't need to be a POV.
Yeah, but don't you remember Bobby? Bobby, she was really tall, and
I remember she was taller than most women. She was Polynesian. Definitely wasn't a fetish.
So we've got one more, Ben. Bull.
Did he gore Lito's dad?
You mess with the bull and you get the horns.
I forgot that was a Patreon-only episode. Join our Patreon for bonus content, such as the bull who gored Lito's dad of Dune.
So he's part of the OPA, right? Fred Johnson. You remember Fred Johnson.
I do remember Fred Johnson.
Yeah, he told Holden to go fuck himself. It was the best thing ever. But he's pulling together a crew to represent the OPA. And
please tell me it doesn't include Holden.
No, God, no. If
Thank
Earth
God.
and Mars are going to send a fleet, then he's got to send a fleet. Now, they don't have a fleet, but they did track down that old Mormon ship from the first book.
I was just going to say, we don't have a fleet, but the Mormons did just commission a bunch of space cars. So I would love if the Mormons just became a running punching bag in this series.
So they renamed their ship to the Behemoth, and they stuck some railguns onto it, like, poorly. Like, and they're like, you're going to go there and you're going to, like, intimidate people. Go. And Bull, his commanding officer is a cowardly idiot. His name is Captain Ashford. He's a cowardly idiot who's casually racist towards the superior Earth race, Ben. And Ashford has Bull demoted to the security officer because he doesn't want an Earther on the bridge. And so Bull, he has
just
to,
like Worf.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like Worf. So Bull, he busts like
is there a Tasha Yar figure that can get destroyed in the first season to allow for Bull's ascendancy by a tar monster?
I am Armus. Why are you here?
So Bull, I think that just keeps Bull closer to the action. He throws a guy out of the airlock for selling drugs, and then he makes
sounds
some
great.
alliances. Yeah, that's an old OPA regulation or whatever. Threaten the safety of the crew.
We talking like weed or like crocodile?
It's a stimulant mixed with a hallucinogenic. It's like doing mushrooms and Adderall at the same time.
Oh, fuck this guy. I don't want to follow it. No, I'm not following a narc. Next.
Well, guess
character.
what? Everyone does, kind of, actually. I mean, the XO kind of hates him and is looking to get rid of him, but...
I'd demote this asshole, too. Throw him out the airlock.
Okay, Editor Nate here, and maybe I'm not doing this justice, but people are showing up to work high, and people have started to get injured because they're operating heavy machinery while under the influence of a combination stimulant and hallucinogenic. So, take that, Ben. Yeah, he manages to save his skin, though. So, some political BS happens, and they get to the ring, Ben. And so everyone's at the ring when the ship blows up, Ben. The ship that Melba put that bomb on. And then Holden is taking credit for it. And Bull runs to the bridge, is like, Captain, we have to shoot James Holden.
I'm warming up to the guy.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I don't love what he's about, but
the captain's like, but he just claimed the ring for the OPA. Why would we do that? And Bull's like, okay, so if we don't distance ourselves from that fucking lunatic out there, everyone's going to assume that we were in on this, and
they're going to blow up our shit boat with 2 railguns on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, our ship sucks. We will die. We gotta shoot James Holden. So they fire a missile at James Holden, and the power grid goes out on their ship. That's how shitty their ship is, Ben.
I am James Holden. I have the best bombs, and I'm claiming this.
And James Holden
for the OPA.
He does some evasive maneuvers, and they shoot through the Martian and Earth fleets as quickly as possible, and they go into the ring, and I think Miller tells him, or maybe they just figure it out from all the readouts. Inside the ring, there's like a... It sounds dumb.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. I've headcanoned something now.
Oh, geez.
And it is that Miller can only appear when James Holden is peeing. And because he sees because he sees Miller on the bridge, that means he has pissed himself. And Miller's like, "Oh man, if only there was some way to talk to Holden." And then he just suddenly appears, and he's like, "Oh, James, good thinking. Now we're gonna need to go straight through that ring."
Well, they know to slow down before they go through the ring. Unlike that kid who was going really fast, and he was
no one ever tried going through it really slow. Yeah.
No, one even tried to go through it for like a year until that kid did, so...
Yeah, no, that checks out. Nobody's even looked at the inner part of the ring, which would, in doing so, they would go through the ring.
Right. Exactly.
There's not even been like one robot that just...
Well, they started sending probes after the ring was activated.
Okay.
They didn't do that before. They didn't do that for an entire year.
Nobody thought to probe the ring.
No.
I should apply for a grant. I think I could be a scientist.
Yeah, I mean, the science in this world was we removed the ethics part of your brain, and then you rub goo on people.
So this is a hard science fiction story. So the science is always really good. They always do the math. Doesn't make the most logical sense, but the physics is good. I'm sure that whenever something does go through this ring, there's a physicist who will tell me that checks out. But can you tell me why they didn't ever go through the ring? I guess.
No, Ben. I can't.
I just, okay, I didn't read the book, obviously. And I I guess I had this weird impression because I knew a couple of people personally who were really into The Expanse. Is this a big deal? Are these books a big deal?
Like the books themselves?
Yeah,
I thought so
was
too.
this show or the like?
I thought that was a big deal. I thought it was like a tent pole for new sci-fi.
It felt like it. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm just a nitpicking grump. I don't know. It seems dumb to me.
Yeah, and Ashford, he's gonna go in after Holden and get him, and Bull is like,
what does it mean he's going to go after Holden? How do they know he went anywhere? How do they know Holden's not dead?
They assume he's not dead. So the camera feed that one kid had, the one who wanted to feel up his cousin, that's still broadcasting from time to time. So they see that his ship is left intact, and they can see that there's like an artificial speed limit on the other side of the ring. So the kid died because he was rapidly decelerated. So we're going to go through slowly and get him. And Bull is like, if we do that, we will die. And Ashford's like, fuck you.
They know there's something on the other side of the ring. And then they started sending probes through?
Yes.
So the probes have seen stuff in the interim.
I think they've seen some sort of structure. It's hard to make out exactly. But they're like, well, there's probably not warships because they would have just come through and murdered us all, right? We can all agree to that, right? Hopefully.
I guess. Maybe, if that's how it works. If it's not one way.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not one way, because then how will we ever get James Holden back?
Oh, God. What would
Quick,
we do?
destroy the ring. Destroy the ring while he's inside. Quick.
Yeah. Okay, so James Holden goes through a ring.
James Holden goes through, and Ashford is like, in 12 hours, we're going to follow him and get him, or whatever, or 8 hours. However long it takes to get the ship back and operational.
Oh, we're going to go on the shit boat.
Yeah, we're going in the Behemoth it fired one missile and its entire power grid fell out of its asshole. That's what we're going to do. We're going in. You got
Captain,
6 hours to pray to your god, all right?
Request permission to not go.
Denied, soldier. Someone strap this man in.
Hey, guys, hear me out. Don't fix it. We just don't have to fix it.
That's where it ends, Ben. That's where my third of the book ends.
I don't.
Do you want to read more, Ben?
No.
Does this convince you to read more?
No.
So once again, I like Bull. I wish I could just read a book about him having to deal with the politics aboard this ship that is going to go into an alien wormhole and get us all killed. Melba's not bad. I feel like Melba's a decently three-dimensional character.
Not there.
There's more to her story, you know?
Oh, no, not Melba. What's the other one?
Anna. And Anna, I feel like maybe she didn't need to be there. There's a lot of religious imagery in this book. That wasn't in the previous books, right? Like, that's new. Like, Ashford is his it's not a throne room, but his bridge, his office quarters, he's flanked by, like, angels that are blowing, like, cherubs or something. No, I think it's angels. Straight up fucking angels on the wall decorating his office. I noticed there's more religious shit in this book.
I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily religious, but, like, they've been using highly poetic imagery. I mean, all of them are, like, Leviathan Wakes, Caliban's War, Abbadon. These are all pretty lofty references.
Yeah.
And it does seem like we're going to find out something about the nature of the universe itself here. Obviously, the proto-molecule was some kind of advanced alien technology. We're not alone. We're dealing with that stuff. Here's the problem. It sounds like it's the problem that I've had with The Expanse since we started reading it. Setting, great. I mentioned, the guy who came up with the role-playing world. I think it's a great world. I like the tech. I like the proto-molecule.
It's a part of human history we don't often see. You're either on Earth or maybe the moon, or you are traveling the stars in the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah.
And this is like, we're spread out to the solar system, but not much further because of technology limitations.
So the near future sci-fi stuff, I think, is what hooked me. What I would have been interested in reading more about.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're done with that. Once we have interstellar travel, I think we're done with that, right?
I'm guessing. I don't know when we get interstellar travel, but
I think we just got it.
Yeah, I think we're rapidly going in that direction.
I think Holden just traveled between two stars.
Yeah.
So I think we got that. It's the characters. It's the characters and the way they interact. The human factor is what is missing from this book for me. I just don't like any of these people. And that's not necessarily a huge problem. I don't think characters have to be likable. But it's incredibly frustrating that the book does not understand that they're not likable. Like, it was incredibly frustrating to me that Miller was just unapologetically berated and treated as an asshole throughout his entire story. And James Holden, who has started 2 interplanetary wars and gotten billions of people killed, is just Han Solo. Where I'm just supposed to pretend that it's not a gritty sci-fi world sometimes. Sometimes it's just a fun space romp with idiot Han Solo in his Martian warship. And we've talked about this on the other episodes. He's like Mal. He's like Mal from Firefly. I guess it's old enough now that people don't know that. Let me ask you this. If we were to read the rest of it, do you think I'm going to have anything new to say?
No, I don't think so.
That's sort of where I'm at.
I read this very
series.
guarded. And
this is a
again,
7-book series. They're not short books.
No. And that was the other problem. Because you have 4 POVs, the first 6 or 7 chapters, they're just setting up how they're all getting to be in the same location. And I could have done with not having those part of the book. You could have sliced those off. Really, you could have cut out some of these POVs. I don't know why they went from 2 to 4 and then kept 4.
I don't think POVs are the way to go for this kind of book. But when you have 2 authors, I think that's a convenient way for 2 authors to write. And we've talked about that in previous episodes.
I think it worked for the first book because it could show you different parts of this world. You got to see an asteroid station, and then you got to see a cargo ship.
I'll tell you how I don't think I want to cover The Expanse 1 book at a time, the way we have covered Dune.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want to cover the entire series as 1 or 2 episodes because I don't want to read that much for something I don't think I'm going to really enjoy.
Well, that's the challenge.
Or not enjoy to the fullest extent. Because I'm not saying... So far, I like this more than Caliban's War. Stuff's actually happening, and it's not so James Holden focused. I think he was in... maybe a quarter of these, actually. He wasn't in a whole lot of chapters, and he wasn't doing horribly stupid offensive things yet. yet. There's the key word. Like I said, I liked Bull. I kind of wish there was just more of him. Melba wasn't bad. I kind of wish there was just more of her, and you didn't do away with the rest.
We have a practical concern here. And that is, we do a weekly podcast. I, as much as we can, would like to try to cover more books. I don't love doing parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you've got these, how many pages is this? 600?
Close, yeah. It's like 500 plus.
So when you've got these bigger books, we usually spend a lot of time summarizing, which already bumps the episode count up to 2. This is a little behind the scenes stuff, but this is the kind of math I do when I decide whether or not I want to cover something.
And then add 66 and 2/3%. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning.
And I'm going to be repeating myself. When it ultimately comes to my final thoughts, I'm still not going to like James Holden. I'm still going to have all the problems I have with the way he's written. I'm probably going to have praise for the world, probably have praise for the science. I might like the parts of the book that remind me of other things I like William Gibson, because they do have that. There's the gritty realism of it all. I like Miller. I like the supernatural stuff. I just think if I were to cover The Expanse again, if anybody wanted me to, I think it would just have to be a series thing. I think I would just have to read the series and give you my thoughts. Because book by book, at this point, I already know I don't like the writing.
Yeah.
And it's going to... I know it's fun sometimes when we don't like a book, but this isn't even...
But it's the same reason that we don't like the book.
It's the same reason, and the thing is, it's not even that bad of a book.
Right.
Like, if
it's
we
just
keep
not
covering...
our thing.
Yeah, if we keep covering it, we're just going to keep beating up on it, making it a punching bag. But it's not something egregious like Ready Player One. It doesn't really deserve that level of scrutiny. So I could give you, I could see a world where I read the rest of the series, and that would take time.
That'd take a lot of time.
And I could give you my thoughts on it, if you want them. I don't know if anybody does.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't think anyone wants us to read it either.
Yeah, there's just other stuff out there. I think we've made our point with The Expanse, and I think this time is better spent reading something new. Revisiting William Gibson is something I wanted to do at some point. I'd like to check out the other cyberpunk stuff. I'm interested in checking out more hard science fiction. I mentioned Three Body Problem to you. So there's a lot of things we could do, and I don't think we need to do this.
Do androids dream of electric sheep was put forward as a possibility, and
Philip K. Dick. That's a short story almost.
Yeah, it's not very long. I could do that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. There's a lot of sci-fi out there that we could do. I don't think it's to The Expanse's benefit that we keep covering it. I don't think it's to our benefit that we keep covering it. And I do think as we enter into year 5,
Can you believe it, Ben?
We need to start moving beyond some of these series we get ourselves stuck in.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I would have read it if you really wanted to read it based on my description, but I figured it was a safe bet you weren't going to. So
no,
I'm okay with this being our closing thoughts on the series and just let's move on.
I do think maybe it's worth doing an update at some point on some of the series we've covered, but I've been giving a lot of thought to with Sarah J. Maas too. Are we going to cover the entire 6-book or whatever, Court of Thorns and whatever?
I don't know. It depends on if we continue to get such high view counts, baby.
Yo, it is doing numbers on everybody.
Well, that is true. I mean, we could do whatever the audience wants.
I think because we did do Throne of Throne of Glass this year.
We'll do Throne of Glass. I think we do need to. I think that'll be the guiding principle. Is when we stop having new things to say, is when we stop covering it. If we read Throne of Glass, because we were pretty positive about A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I'm going to say if we read Throne of Glass and Throne of Glass is the other series.
Yeah, Throne of Glass is the other series.
Did you want to read A Court of Mist and Fury?
I'm gonna.
Okay. So I was gonna say we'll read the series until we no longer have anything new to say. Like once we start repeating ourselves, like I'm doing now, we'll just stop. And we'll do something else.
Except for Dune.
Unless it's a series we
Dune.
really care about.
We're finishing the
or
fight.
just one of us really cares about. We could finish Dune this year. We could do a Dune double feature. Just get it the fuck over with.
Anything else, Ben?
No. I mean, you're obviously not going to rubric a third of a book. I think that's a bit much even for us.
As always, a special thanks to all of our patrons, and especially those mad lads who have decided to go in at the Yacht Plan supporter tier. So, shouting them out, we've got Shy with a Y. You can follow them on Instagram. And X is a thing, I think, still. Tumblr. And then next up, we have Isekai Sensei Sama from That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster podcast. There's Jamie, the Gravy Man. You can follow him on ifyouwantthegravy.wordpress.com, where he reviews everything.
Everything.
And finally, you got John Bierce, a real author with real books. Definitely go check out John Bierce's many books. We covered The Rack. We covered the first installment of The Mage Errant. He's got more stuff coming on the way. He's got a Patreon. Go check that out as well. And with that, Season 5, baby!
You could go listen to that if you don't want to listen to this.
Nope. You're already locked in. You're legally obligated to listen to the rest of this podcast now that you started it. That's how this works. You've got like a 30-second grace period to decide if it's not for you, and you're here now.
Intro music counts.
Yep. That was 12 seconds there, so